What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about custody, divorce, and cheating. I got 5 myths for you that I'm going to break down. My name is Robert Buchanan. JointCustodyAdvocates.com is the website. Let's dive in. Myth number 1 is that you can't get custody if you cheated, or that, put it another way, if the other parent cheated, that custody is a lock for you, or that the judge is going to consider that as kind of a main point of the case. This is false. The custody statute, or allocation of parental responsibilities as it's technically called, looks at about 17 different factors when deciding who is going to get custody. And when I talk about custody, what I mean is who the primary parent is, and that determination comes from the best interest of the child determination. So how the court looks at that, how they determine that, is they look at these different factors and they come to a conclusion. If you look through those factors, you will not find the infidelity of either party as being a factor. It usually is a non-factor. Now, there's always an exception to that. And the exception here is going to be if that infidelity is, super out in the open and it's affecting the child in a negative way. But generally speaking, infidelity is an adult problem. It's not a child problem. And it's going to be dealt with in that way. Now, on the flip side, the way that I see that custody most often affects the way that I see cheating most often affecting custody cases is actually to the detriment of the person who got cheated on, and it's due to their own reaction to the cheating. This is 9 times out of 10 how cheating comes into play, and it looks like this. You and the other parent are living together. One of you, or let's assume that you're the one not cheating. The other parent is engaged in some sort of affair. It eventually comes to light. You see his or her phone. You catch them red-handed, smoking gun, and you just become livid. You can't control your emotions. How could they do this to you? And you become extremely angry, and you do something that ultimately hurts your custody case. You act out in a way that you've never acted out in a way before. But that is the narrative that gets created in court, that you are this rash person who can't handle their emotions. You're just angry, and before you know it, the police are arriving. There's order of protection being filed, and you're fighting to get your kids back, and you're pointing at the other side saying, wait, they're the one that cheated. What's going on here? And it's actually your emotional reaction that's going to affect it more than anything. So that's myth number 1, and definitely the most exciting myth that we're going to cover here. Let's do myth number 2. Myth number 2, if you cheated, you cannot get child support. Absolutely false. Child support is a kind of a nuts and bolts, or an X's and O's type of operation. It's really a calculation. The question is, who has how many overnights, what is your income, what is their income, gets put into a calculator. The calculator spits out a value, and the calculator never asks, did this person cheat on, was this person a cheater? There's no question like that in the calculator. It's just purely numbers, and the judge isn't going to ask, the judge isn't going to care. So you could get cheated on, and you could have to pay child support, and that's just the reality of the situation. Let's go to the next one. Myth number 3, similar to child support. If you cheated, you cannot get maintenance. Again, maintenance is a calculation, and it has nothing to do with cheating. You take their income, you take your income, and you run it into the calculator, and it spits out a number, and that's where maintenance comes from. Maintenance is a little bit more discretionary, if you will, than child support, but of the factors in maintenance, none of them say, because there are, I forget, but like 10 different factors to determine whether or not maintenance is appropriate. And none of those factors is the infidelity of either party. So you certainly can be cheated on, and then you can be taken for a ride as far as maintenance is concerned as well. Let's move on here. Myth number 4. If you cheated, you're not entitled to the same type of distribution of assets, meaning you would get, in a divorce, you get less assets because you cheated. Or on the flip, if you were cheated on, then the court's going to punish the other side by giving them less property. Absolutely false. The law is very clear here that the infidelity of either party won't be used against them as far as the distribution of assets. The particular language, I believe, is that the court will not consider marital misconduct when they are breaking down the equitable distribution of property. Because if you remember, in Illinois, it's an equitable distribution state, meaning it's not 50-50 necessarily. It's, what is fair, what is equitable. And what is equitable usually does not, well, not usually, but always does not relate to the marital misconduct of the parties. One caveat to that, though, and that is dissipation. Dissipation is when one party uses marital funds for a non-marital purpose. Now, this can really kind of closely align with cheating, because oftentimes when there is cheating going on, the person cheating is using marital funds on their mistress or mister, if that's a word. And in that case, that can affect the distribution of property. But in a technical sense, it's not actually affecting it. It's just changing the accounting of the property. So that's myth number, what is that? Myth number 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one, myth number 5. If you cheated, you cannot get the house. Again, this is related to the property division. It's really the same question, but more of a nuanced angle into that question. So the answer is, so that it's false, you can get the house, you can cheat, you can get the house, you can get the kids, you can get maintenance, you can get child support if you cheated. So the lesson to be taken away from this is that the infidelity of the other spouse, it might be, excruciating, it might be heartbreaking, but don't expect to get the kind of moral justice that you want to get or that you think you deserve. Don't expect that to get that in court. Court is a place where it's a little bit more heartless, if you will. The law is not built to get vindication because of your ex's misdoings. That's 5 myths. We've busted them related to cheating, divorce, and custody. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm happy to talk to you about this further, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.